Hello everybody, Keith here again. It's the last quarter of the development talk I'm going to do today, and it's definitely a tales of pluses and minuses. Some have done okay, some not so well, some I've lost. So without further ado, let's make a start. Okay then, this is Gamesa or Ornithophora, I'm never sure which, radicans. A little oncidium type that I mounted some time ago, and it's done okay. It's flowered for me this year. We've got a root going round the back just here. Sorry, that's where I used to hang it up with a coat hanger. And it's putting out some new roots. There's a root coming out here, but a lot of the roots that were doing okay have sort of died back, and I've seen this a lot with my oncidium types this year. I don't know whether it's this year, whether it's the time of year or what. This has been in the conservatory throughout, and I've not been able to heat it as well as I have done sometimes through this winter. So it's been getting cooler. It's been getting down to about 14.5 is the lowest I've seen so far, and there's not a lot I can do about it, unfortunately. It is what it is. Most of the plants aren't doing too badly. Even my Vanda is still growing, believe it or not. But I have noticed on the oncidium types that a lot of these roots have gone very thin. But on one or two, on my Tolumnias, not so much Auxianus, we're looking at in a moment, but I've got one other one, a hybrid, and the roots on that did exactly the same. And just now, as daylight is extending and we've had a slightly warmer spell, I can see some of these roots beginning to green again. So although they've gone down, they're still able to absorb water. So all we can do is wait and see. But it looks good. There aren't a lot of dying leaves. It has flowered. We've got some new growths coming. So I think this one has been, on the whole, it's been a success. So this is Gamesa or Ornithophora radicans. Right, a real problem child here. This is Masdevallia nidifica, and they've gone down like the proverbial stone. I did an emergency repot a little while ago and it just to try and save them. What I found, and I've lost my Patricia Hill, Masdevallia Patricia Hill, for the same reason, was that the compost had got congested down below and it was staying wet. Now, since I've done that, although this has only got one leaf on, not really showing any great signs of deterioration. The same with this one. It hasn't got many leaves, but it is doing okay. This one I'm not sure about, but one bit appears to have gone, another bit I think's got some new leaves. So it's touch and go with these. To be fair, I started with Masdevallias to see if I could grow them, not really expecting to be able to grow them, and it's beginning to look as if my conditions don't suit them. That's fine, we all have to learn, and if I can pull them around, so much the better. But at the moment, things are not looking very clever at all. So, Masdevallia nidifica. Tolumnia hawksiana. I don't really know how well you're going to see this. It's not doing very well at all at the moment. It really isn't. I'm not happy with it, but it's never been a very strong plant. It was good when I got it several years ago, but it's never really got going for me. Again, its roots haven't looked great. The bit that's fan that's sticking up, sort of slightly clear of the cork, is looking rather dehydrated. So I'm not terribly confident that this is going to do any good. The other one, the hybrid, is doing okay, but we all know about hybrid vigour. Again, Tolumnia is not something that you would really expect to do brilliantly well in the house. I can't give special conditions. I can't get the humidity up much beyond 40% most of the year. So, will it work? I don't know. We'll see. But I am learning what I can grow and what I can't grow. And that's part of the process. Now, if that means I'm going to end up being very restricted into which orchids I can grow, well, that might lead to a reduction in my enthusiasm for the hobby. But we can only wait and see. So, Tolumnia hawksiana. Now, just for a very pleasant change, this is one that's been quite successful. This is RTH rather, Ringcat Lianthe, Xing Ming Beauty Rainbow. Now, those of you who follow my channel know that this flowered for me this year. When I got it a couple of years ago, it really wasn't very thrilling, but it's done well. The other one didn't, that died, but it never looked very good. But this one has flowered. Again, it sits in here, it's hung up on the some of the tie rods in the roof of the conservatory. It's always been in here. Yes, it's gone cold, but it doesn't seem to be bothering it all that much. It has flowered. I didn't think there were any great signs of anything happening, but I did notice when I pulled it out today, there is some signs on the side of one of the more recent canes of a little tiny green nub showing. Now, I don't think it's big enough for you to see, but somewhere down there by my fingernail there is a little nub. So this is very definitely a success story, and it's quite a pretty one. So it wasn't a brilliant flowering, but given the state of the plant when I got it, I was pleased to get anything at all. But yeah, if it's going to start putting new growths out, we've got lots of roots all the way down through the pot. I think we're in with a good chance with this one. So, Ringcat Lianthe, Xing Ming Beauty Rainbow. Right, Oncidium sotoanum. I bought a much bigger plant from the Orchid Society of Great Britain stall when we went to the Royal Horticultural Society Chelsea show a year last September. And it began to grow and then it stalled. Couldn't understand why, thought it was me, and then I noticed one day there was a small snail on the plant. You'll have seen this before, I'm sure, if you follow the channel. And when I pulled it out, this, although people say an odd snail can't do a lot of damage, this one had. It had munched all the green tips off all the roots. Now, I am not a botanist, but I do know from a guy who commercially bred peonies for a while, who gave a talk to the East Midlands Orchid Society a little while ago. Peonies only have a certain number of root buds on the base of the bulb, and if you break a root it doesn't branch. So if you damage too many of those roots off the peony, eventually there won't be any more roots grow because it cannot grow anymore. And I suspect, as I say, I'm not a botanist, I was an engineer, mechanical to start with and mining to finish, and it gives me the impression that the same might be true of these Oncidiums, because once those green tips are gone, even after I repotted it, nothing happened. Now what it has done is it's put up some new growths. They've not been wonderfully quick in growing, but they have grown, and we have got roots that have grown, and they're down in the pot right the way through this medium, right the way down to the bottom. So is it going to do tremendously well in the next year? I don't know. I doubt it very much. But we have got three growths. We're not seeing massive amount of dehydration on the older bulbs. So it's pulling in moisture from somewhere, obviously because it's got plenty of roots. So I think, although the other one died, it was that one never looked as strong. And I never saw it starting to put roots out from the new growths it tried to put out. This one, yeah. So you can compare this one to the other. There'll be a photograph of the other one which I took when I threw it away a couple of weeks ago. You'll see that one was as brown as ripe wheat, and this one's quite the opposite. I am quietly confident with this one that it'll do something. Some of the Oncidiums are starting to show new growths again. Now the daylights are starting to warm. It's starting to lengthen, the days have got a little bit warmer. What this will do, I don't know. But another one that I've still got one, which is more than I thought I was going to have at one time. So this is Oncidium sotoanum. Something that's doing really well. This is Zygopetalum crinitum. It's not flowered yet, but it's growing really well. We've got 3 new growths coming. They're growing quite nicely. There's a lot of roots, and they're right down now to the bottom of the pot. I was thinking of repotting this the other week. Again, if you have a look back at my channel, you'll see me repotting something else. I decided against repotting this because it didn't seem too bad. But if the roots are down through the bottom, I think it might be worth having a look, although it hasn't been in this pot for a year yet. The difference is, this is in the Westland commercial orchid compost, which is a mixture of quite fine bark and ceramics. So for a plant that likes moisture like a Zygopetalum, you'd think it was ideal. And I suspect if I got my own ceramics and added that into a plain bark mix, I might do a bit better. Because the problem with the Westland that I found, this is purely a personal opinion, so Westland, if you ever get to watch this, please don't sue me. I've had some great success with it. If you've got a really vigorous plant that drinks a lot of water, something similar to this that'll bang roots out, you won't do too badly with it. But the problem I find is that there's a lot of fines in the mix. And as you water it, those fines wash down to the bottom, and it's very, very easy for the bottom to end up quite badly clogged. And if the roots aren't down there and they aren't drying it out, everything starts to go sour. So I think I'm going to be quite nervous about what I'm doing. Oh, hello, we've got a fourth new growth showing now. So I think this really is doing as well as you could possibly hope for. I'd really like to see it flower, but the fact it's putting lots of new growths out and we've got lots of roots, and it seems quite a happy little bunny. Well, Keith's a happy little bunny as well. So Zygopetalum cranitum, the only species zygo I've got, which I got from Burnham Orchids, which they'd grown from seed in their own labs. And the last one, this is Restrepia falkenbergii, and we've got 2 flowers open at the moment. It's flowered not as well as I've seen some. There's a guy in the Orchid Society who's got one of these, and it makes this look like it's dying. But then again, Mike's a far more experienced grower than me, and he grows in a greenhouse, so he's got much more control over what he can do. But this is the one which I keep in an old tank upstairs. It has light on 12 hours a day, and it seems to really like the conditions up there. And we've got a lot of new growths. Unfortunately, most of these new growths are coming from nodes like this one. Mike's, for some reason, and it may be just a foible of his plant as opposed to mine, Mike's doesn't throw those. That puts new growths out from the base. Love to know why, but that seems to be the way of it. But anyway, this one is growing nice and steadily. It's flowering regularly. It's taking absolutely no looking after at all. It sits in its little terrarium with 12 hours of daylight, and away it goes. And it's by far the best of all 4 of the Restrepias that I've still got. So that's the last one. I hope you've enjoyed the journey we've had in the last 12 months. Quite what to do next year, I honestly don't know. I haven't bought much in the last year. I'm trying to get rid of some to make some room so as I can think about it. The only thing that we could have a look at possibly, we've got some Dendrobium nobilis, but I haven't got many that are small. They're all quite big, well-established plants. It's Phalaenopsis, of course, but which ones of those do we look at? That's anything that you can't buy anywhere else? I don't know. I really don't know what we can look at next year. But let me have a think. Or if you've got any bright ideas of what you might like to have a look at from the various plants that I've put up. what I might do is try and make a list of the plants that I've got at the moment, and then let you choose. But I don't know, perhaps it would be better to just have one or two rather than half a dozen. But we can only wait and see. Anyway, again, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the journey. I look forward to seeing you soon, which won't be too soon. I'm going to be really out of sorts for a couple of weeks. From starting tomorrow, this is Sunday the 12th of February. Starting tomorrow, we're having all the doors and windows replaced in the house, and that's going to take all week, so everything's going to be thoroughly disrupted. I'm not going to be able to spend time doing videos and things. It's going to be a bare minimum job for the entire week on the orchids and everything else, I suspect. So, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye for now.